morning, guys. We're gonna start standing up at the top of our mats. May want to have blocks up there at the top of the mat or whatever you're using as blocks. I have a blanket and a strap. You don't have to have a strap today, but if grabbing your ankle behind you is a little more strain on your knees than you need, then go ahead and grab yourself something to use as a strap, which can be a kitchen towel, it can be a regular towel, a bathrobe, tie, whatever works for you. But we will start standing in Tadasana at the top of the mat. So the first thing, we want to build this Tadasana from the ground up. So the first thing we focus on is our feet. So go ahead and just lift and spread the toes. The heels are lined up under the center of your hips. Not outer hips, they're not touching either. So just a little bit of space between them. And go ahead and lift and spread those toes. Feel how it activates the arches of your feet. We want to keep those arches lifted. And a little space between the toes as you lay the toes back down on the mat. See if you can see a little bit of color peeking through from your mat. And then we want to pay attention to those knees. Oftentimes we think standing up straight requires locking the knees. We actually want the knees soft. We want them pliable. They're lined up right over the ankles, not back behind them. And then as far as the hips are concerned, we don't need the hips pulled way under. We don't need the hips sticking out behind us. We want the tailbone reaching for the heels. So your quads are active right now. We're pulling the kneecaps up towards the hips. We're pushing up out of the floor as though you were going to float. Hips are turned on, squeezing in towards one another. Belly button is in, but also up. So it's not just pulling it back towards your spine, but we want to lift it up towards our shoulder blades. As far as those shoulder blades are concerned, go ahead and slide them down towards your hips. Creates a little more length in the sides of the neck. Ears are lined up over the shoulders, and a slight dip to the chin to bring a little extra length to the back of the neck. So as we press into the floor with the heels, we lift up through the crown of the head, turning the creases of the elbows towards the front of the room, so thumbs rotate out. Reaching the fingertips for the floor. And just take a couple of breaths here, really engaging from the heels through the crown of the head. And then slowly, we want to start to soften some of that effort. So maybe relax the fingertips first. Relax the jaw. Maybe relax the arms, just a smidge. Relax the toes. Can you start to relax a little bit of the effort in those quadriceps, or in the glutes, in the hips, or in the belly? Now if we go too far and we let everything just sort of melt, we lose that lift. We end up just sort of sinking down towards the floor. We want to keep as much of that lift as we can while softening as much of the effort as we can, making this sustainable. We're not compressing the body down towards the floor. We still have space between the vertebrae. But we don't need to wear out the body to get there either. If balance allows, eyes are closed. Maybe you feel a little bit of the weight shifting around on your feet. We don't need to stop that sway. We just want to pay attention to it. hopefully we can find a little bit of balance. Equal weight distribution in the heels, ball mount of the big toe, ball mount of the pinky toe. And just finding our breath, breathing in and breathing out. If your mind wanders off, which it more than likely will, bring it back. Notice what happened while you were somewhere else. Did some of the alignment shift? Before we start to move, just take a moment to notice your relationship with this stillness. You don't have to love it. Some days you will, some days you won't. We'll take about 3 more breaths. On your next inhale, go ahead and inhale, arms up overhead. Nice and slow and controlled. Palms facing one another up at the top. Shoulder blades still come down towards the hips. Pull the belly button in. We're not looking for a back bend just yet. Exhale, float the hands back down. Palms turn down towards the floor, slow and controlled. Rotate the arms, palms up, inhale up. Exhale down. Maybe this feels different between the 2 shoulders. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale, arms up overhead. Hold here. Spread the fingers wide. Just roll those wrists around a little bit. Waking up the forearms. Bringing a little movement into those wrist joints. Go ahead and interlace the fingers overhead. Turn palms up. Now we can start to lift the heart up towards the ceiling. Give ourselves a little back bend here, but keep the belly pulled in, keep the tailbone down towards the heels. So we're not bringing the tailbone up towards the shoulder blades. We're lifting the heart up towards the ceiling. One more breath. Exhale, release, float those arms all the way back down. Inhale, arms all the way back up. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms up towards the ceiling. Lift the chest. Big breath in. As you exhale, leave the arms alongside the ears. Start to point the palms towards the front of the room. So now we are going to round the spine a little bit. Pull the belly button in. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, press the palms towards the front of the room. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, press the palms towards the front of the room. One more time, inhale, arms all the way back up. Exhale, release arms to goalposts. Reach the elbows forward, the hands back. The hands are heavy. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, forward fold. Floating down towards those feet. Soften the knees. We're gonna hang out down here for a couple of breaths, so bend those knees. Maybe shake the head yes, shake the head no. Move the shoulders around, really whatever feels good to you. Take another breath down here. Press into the heels and inhale all the way back up again. Interlace the fingers, press the palms up towards the ceiling, and then exhale round, pressing the palms towards the front of the room. Inhale, arms back up again. And release to goalpost, lift the chest. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way back up. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, release arms to goalposts, and inhale, reach your heart up towards the ceiling. Inhale all the way back up, and exhale, forward fold. Soften those knees. One more time. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale as you interlace those fingers, press the palms up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, round. Pull the belly button in. Press the palms forward. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, release arms to goalposts. Inhale, press the elbows forward, hands back. Inhale all the way back up. And exhale, forward fold. We'll hang out down here. Soften the knees enough to get fingertips to the floor. And just take a couple of breaths. Maybe shift the weight around on the feet. Take another breath. Place the hands on the shins. Slide the hands up to just below the kneecaps. Knees are still soft. Straighten the elbows. Reach the heart forward. Pull the belly in. Exhale, release. Slide the hands up the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Belly in, hips reaching back. Exhale, forward fold. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Straighten those elbows. Maybe lift the hips a little bit higher. And exhale, forward fold. Fingertips on floor or block. Shift the hips from side to side. The weight is still equal in both feet. We're just wagging the tail. Plant the hands. Step both feet back. Plank pose. Heels of the hands are lined up under the shoulders. Creases of the elbows are forward. Heels are reaching back. Belly is in. Tailbone is reaching for your heels. So this is Tadasana with your arms out in front. Rock front to back a couple of times. Next time you rock forward, bring that right knee down. Take the right foot off to the right. Drop the left heel. Reach that left arm up and alongside the ear. Lift the hips a little bit higher, bringing a little more action into the outside edge of that left foot, and reach the left arm alongside the ear. Open the chest. Exhale, release, back to plank pose. Rock forward and back a couple of times. Next time you rock forward, bring that left knee down. Take the left foot off to the left. Drop the right heel, reach the right arm up. Shift the weight a little bit further back and reach the right arm alongside the ear. Chest is open. back to plank pose. Rock front to back a couple of times. Next time you rock forward, bring both knees down. Open the chest, elbows hug the ribs as you rock forward and all the way down onto your belly. Press firmly into the tops of the feet, spread the toes, pull the belly in. Inhale, lift head, heart, shoulders. Exhale, release. Press into the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift head, heart, shoulders. Exhale, release. Last time, press firmly into the tops of the feet. Pull the belly in. Feel the tailbone reach for the heels. Inhale, lift, head, heart, shoulders. Float the arms. Press the feet down. They're going to want to lift. Exhale, release. All the way down. Press up and back. Down dog. Our first down dog of the morning. Maybe. Soften one knee, soften the other, or wag the tail. Take another breath. Walk your feet to the top of the mat. You can use blocks or hands on your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale all the way up, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, plank pose. Rock forward, knees down, come all the way down onto your belly. Press into the tops of the feet, inhale, cobra. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. Reach the right leg up, back, open the hip to the side, bend the knee, flex the foot. Let that left heel get heavy while picking that left shoulder up. So square off your heart at that left shin, not off to the right. Straighten that right leg back out again, place it down next to the left. Reach that left leg up, back, open the hip to the side, bend the knee, flex the foot. Right heel gets heavy, right shoulder lifts. Straighten that left leg back out again, place the foot down. Inhale, plank. Drop the right knee to the mat. Step the right foot off to the right. Drop the left heel. Reach that left arm up and alongside the ear. Lift those hips, pull the belly in, and this time maybe float that left leg. Bring that left foot back down. Release to plank pose. Rock forward, left knee down. Place the left foot off to the left. Drop that right heel, reach the right arm up and alongside the ear. Maybe float that right leg. One more breath. And release. Down dog. Separate your feet the width of the mat. Sway your hips from side to side. And then walk your hands back to meet your feet. So your feet are still wide. All 10 toes are pointed forward. Soften those knees. And hang out here. You can sway a little bit from side to side. You can grab opposite elbows. You might want to roll those wrists around a little bit. You figure out what your body needs. One more breath. Heel toe walk the feet back in underneath the hips. Tadasana, feet again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale all the way up, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Walk yourself out to plank pose. You can stay right here, or if you'd like, float that right leg. Just hip height, doesn't need to be any higher than that. Rock forward, bring the knees down, come all the way down onto your belly, releasing that right foot to the floor. Arms come back down by your sides, press into the tops of the feet, spread the toes, spread the fingers. Pull in the belly. Inhale, lift head, heart, shoulders, float the arms. Exhale, release. Press firmly into the tops of the feet, pull in the belly, inhale, lift. Lift a little higher. Exhale, release. One more time, charge up those legs. Pull in the belly, the backs of the knees are lifting. Inhale, lift head, heart, shoulders, float the arms. Option this time to float the legs. A little bit higher. Exhale, release. Stack one hand on top of the other. Rest your forehead on your hands. Bend your knees and wave your feet from side to side. Take one more breath here. Release the feet. Plant the hands next to the ribs. Tuck those elbows in nice and tight. Press into the knees, let the hips lift just an inch or two off the floor, and then use the strength of your arms to push the floor away. Curl those toes under, move the hips back and up. Down dog. Reach the right leg up and back. Step the right foot forward in between the hands. Knee over ankle, hip in line with knee. Want to be able to open the heart a little bit towards the front of the room. Rock front to back. Next time you rock forward, bring that left knee down and inhale, arms up. Right hip back, left hip forward, belly in, ribs in. Keeping all of that tucked in, bring your arms to goalposts. Maybe start to bring the elbows a little forward and the hands a little back as though you're scooping the shoulder blades underneath the chest to lift the heart. But we're not collapsing into the lower back. We're lifting up. One more breath. Inhale all the way back up. Right hand to the right thigh, left hand under the left shoulder. Turn, look over the right shoulder and reach that right arm up. Lift your heart up to your thumb. Bring that right hip down. Release, right hand outside that right foot. You can use blocks here if you'd like. We're going to roll up on that right heel and extend that right leg. So I always end up having to shift that foot forward a little bit because I do want to end up with the left hip over the left knee. Hands are back underneath the shoulders. You don't need to leave the arms out in front of you because we want the chest open. Spread the toes. You want to dig that heel into the floor as though you were trying to make a mark as you drag that leg back. Rotate that right leg to the right. The foot is still flexed. We're reaching long through the inner ankle. Leave the left hand under the shoulder. Reach that right arm up. One more breath. And release. Soften that front knee, plant the hands, down dog. Left leg up and back. Step the left foot forward in between the hands, all the way up, knee over ankle, hip in line with knee. Feel free to rock front to back here a couple of times. Just helps us set the alignment. Next time you rock forward, bring that right knee down. And inhale, arms up. Belly in, ribs in. Nice and long, lots of height here. We're not looking to sink down into the groin. We want to get nice and tall, the focus being on the front of the right hip. Bring arms to goalposts. And maybe start to bring those elbows forward and those hands back, scooping underneath the chest to lift the heart up towards the ceiling. Don't lose the bend in that left knee. One more breath. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, release, right hand underneath the right shoulder, left hand on the left thigh. Look over that left shoulder and reach the left arm up. You should still be able to see the thumb. We're not looking to crank the arm back behind us. Bring that left hip down. Bring the left hand down outside the left foot. I'm going to roll up on that left heel, lining up the right hip over the right knee. Shimmy that left foot around wherever you need to. And find some height here. Blocks are a great idea for this pose because when our spine is all rounded and our tailbone is under, we actually get less into the hamstring than if we lift that tailbone up and open the chest. So take another breath here. Rotate that left foot to the left, staying long through that inner ankle. Pinky toes moving back towards your outer hip. And then we're going to leave the right hand under the right shoulder and reach that left arm up. Dropping that left hip down. One more breath. Exhale, release. Step back to downward facing dog. Separate your feet the width of the mat. Bring your hands towards one another, let the thumbs touch. So the hands are a little narrower than you're used to, and the feet are a little wider than you're used to. Ground into that right hand and come to just fingertips of the left. Feel how the weight shifts around. Try and push more weight back into the legs. And then maybe see if you can float that left arm. If that feels okay, balance-wise. If not, leave your fingertips on the floor. But if that feels all right, maybe consider reaching that left hand underneath you for somewhere on the outside of that right leg. It can be the thigh. It can be at the knee. It might be at the ankle. And look underneath that right arm. Shifting the hips to the left. One more breath. And release. Left hand is now down next to the right. Get light in the right hand. If that feels okay, if you can lift that hand up off the mat without tipping over, Then consider reaching that hand underneath for somewhere on the outside of that left leg. And look under the left arm, shifting the hips just a little bit to the right. And release. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Soften those knees and just hang for a moment. Let those shoulders relax. Go soft in the knees and roll on up. Through ragdoll. Inhale, arms up overhead. Heel toe, walk the feet back in underneath the hips. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Walk yourself out to plank pose. Option to just stay here. Option to bring the knees down. Or option to float that left foot. Just hip height. Toes are pointed down towards the floor. Rock forward. Bring both knees down. Come all the way down onto your belly. Press firmly into the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift, head, heart, shoulders. Exhale, release, down dog. Reach the right leg up, back, open the hip to the side, bend the knee, flex the foot. Option to again come to fingertips on that left hand. You can stay here, or if you'd like, maybe try and reach back and tap that right foot. Whew. Maybe try again. If you tip over, you tip over. Straighten that right leg back out again. Step the right foot forward outside the right hand this time. So a little bit wider stance. Rock front to back. Bring that left knee down. Inhale, arms up. Belly in, ribs in, right hip back. Bring both hands down inside that right foot. And we're going to again roll up on that right heel. It's just out at a slight angle this time. And again, I highly encourage blocks, if you've got them. You can always drop down a level, but if we start off nice and tall, we can lift that tailbone back. Because really what we're looking for is distance from this right hip to this right heel. So if that hip is under, we've actually shortened that distance. We lift that hip up and back, we've lengthened it. So you can stay right here, and then maybe just start to soften the elbows, reaching the heart down towards the floor. Another option, if you're interested, is to start to slide that right heel away and come into kind of a cockeyed split type pose. And then what we're looking for is not so much heart down, but instead lining up our shoulders over our hips, belly in. Maybe sink the hips down towards the floor, but try not to let that belly button pop forward. Push yourself back. One more breath. And release. Bring that right leg back, set your blocks off to the side, down dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Reach the left leg up, back, open the hip to the side, bend the knee, flex the foot. We really want to square off towards that right shin and come up on those right fingertips. And then maybe, woo, we can slap. My hands are slipping today. Slap that left foot. One more attempt. And then straighten that left leg back out. Step the left foot outside the left hand. Rock front to back a couple of times. A wider stance. And bring that right knee down. And inhale, arms up. Belly in, ribs in. One more breath here. Bring both hands down inside. We're going to roll up on that left heel. Line up that right hip over the right knee. Grab a little lift for underneath your hands. I'm just using the blocks on the lowest level because that's what works for me. You may want to start on the highest level and get that all situated. And then if you can get a little bend in the elbows without losing the alignment, you might drop down a level or another, or not at all. Take a couple of breaths here. And then you do have that option, same thing we had on the other side, of sliding that left heel a little forward, bringing the heart up over the hips, shoulders up over the hips, in this kind of wide, cockeyed splits move. Notice my back leg, the toes are still curled under because I don't want to lose the alignment of that leg. I want the thigh pointed down towards the floor. I don't want to roll to the inside edge of that left knee or right knee. I want the legs aligned, the hips aligned. One more breath. And release. We'll meet back in down dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, plank pose. Separate your feet. Little outer hip distance, maybe even as wide as your mat. Bring the hands in towards one another, thumbs touch. Stay right where you are, or if you'd like, get light in the left hand. Maybe reach that left arm forward. Bring that left hip down. One more breath. Release. Press back down dog. Hands are still narrow, feet are still wide. Inhale, plank. Stay right here. You could drop a knee, I suppose, if you wanted to. Get light in the right hand. Maybe reach that right arm forward. Now the tendency is for that hip to want to lift. Pull it back down. One more breath. And release. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Let it go. Lots of balance, which causes a lot of engaging through those core muscles. Heats up the body. Heel toe walk the feet underneath you. This time let the ball mounts of the big toes come to touch. Spread the toes. Knees are soft, not locked. We'd like to bend the knees a little bit more. Drop the hips. Heels are going to stay on the floor, but we're going to let our thighs and our ribs touch. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Drop the hips a little bit lower. Turn the fingertips pointed back. Maybe drop those hips a little bit lower. Don't lose the connection though in those heels. Don't let everything come up into your toes. Reach the arms back alongside the torso. Palms facing the floor, thumbs pointed out. Chest is open. We're in a pretty low crouch here. But maybe now you can lift your heels. As though you were going to fly. One more breath. You can keep those heels lifted or bring them down. Release hands down towards the floor and start to lift the hips. Let the heels release. Wiggle those toes. Walk yourself out to plank pose. Rock forward, knees down, all the way down onto your belly. So we are, if you do have a hard time grabbing that back ankle with your hand, this is where you're going to want your strap. Reach the arms out in front, Superman style. Palms are down on the mat. Roll the shoulders out of the ears. So a lot of times we have a tendency to point our biceps towards one another and triceps out to the side here. I want you to work on getting the creases of the elbows up towards the ceiling. Biceps start to rotate up towards the ceiling. Pull the belly in. So we're broad across the upper back and long through the lumbar spine. Now stay here. Keep all this length as much as possible. Then go ahead and bend that right knee. Reach back with the right hand, grab hold of that right ankle. If you have to kind of scrunch up the right side to grab it initially, that's fine, but make sure you can bring your heart back forward again as you pull that heel in. As far as that right knee is concerned, reach it for the left heel. So we get long through that right side. If your shoulder will permit, walk the hand around to the pinky toe side so you end up thumb up. But again, the whole time we want the heart towards the front of the room. One more breath. And release. Let that right leg extend. Let the right arm reach forward again. Roll the shoulders out of the ears. Walk the feet back. Maybe give the hips a little wiggle. And then when you're ready, grounding into the right side of the body, bend the left knee. Reach back with the left hand, grabbing hold at the ankle, or maybe the inside, the big toe side with the thumb up. We want to pull that heel in while reaching the knee back. Heart is still towards the front of the room. If there is a bend in that left elbow, it should be up towards the ceiling. One more breath. And release. Lengthen back out again. Now we're going to do that 2 more times. You have the option to do it on one side, then the other. Or if you'd like, go ahead and bend both knees. Reach back with both hands, grab hold. We want to start by just pulling those heels in. Pull in the belly. This time, if accessible, go for the ankles and flex the feet. Now if you have both heels lifted, watch that your feet don't come together and knees go wide, or that your knees don't come together and your feet go wide. We want to keep everything in line with the hips. Whether you have just the right leg or both legs, start to kick those feet back, lifting the heart. Maybe the knee leaves the floor. Open the chest. One more breath. And release. Come all the way back down, lengthen it all back out again. Open up the upper back, open up the lumbar spine. Then when you're ready, either grabbing for that left foot or both feet again. And I should rephrase, ankles rather than feet. Flexing at the ankles, keeping the knees and heels in line with the hips. Start to kick away. Maybe the feet reach up a little higher this time, or the heart opens up a little bit more this time. One more breath. And release. Come all the way back down and relax however you would like. If you like that feeling of kind of the Superman breathing into the back body, or stacking hands, resting your forehead, you can give the hips a wiggle or bend the knees and wave the feet from side to side. You take care of you. Take another breath or two. And we will meet in downward facing dog. Down dog is where we lengthen the spine back out again. So get long here. Reach those hips away from the base of the skull. Whole spine is long, not just the back, not just the front. If the tail comes under, you're shortening the front, so soften the knees and lift the hips. If you're really arching the back and pressing the heart forward, you're shortening the back and lengthening the front. We want equal length in front and back body here. Reach the right leg up and back. Step the right foot forward in between the hands. Leave the left knee lifted, right knee over right ankle, hip in line with knee. Inhale, arms up. Belly in, ribs in, right hip back, left hip forward. Get taller. Maybe bring arms to goalpost and open the chest. One more breath. Inhale up. Release the right hand to the thigh, left hand under the left shoulder. Turn, look over the right shoulder, reach the right arm up. Option to bring that left knee down, reach back, and go ahead and grab that left foot. Heart is open. So that right knee, that can go to the side if you would like a little bit, but keep the ankle active. Have it be a choice. We don't want to just collapse that inner ankle. Spread the toes on that right foot. One more breath. And release. Down dog. Reach the left leg up and back. Step the left foot forward in between the hands. Find the right length. Knee over ankle, hip in line with knee. Get lighter and lighter in those hands till you inhale, arms up. Option to bring the arms to goalposts and open the chest. We've done a lot of back bends today, so be mindful of how your back is talking to you. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release, left hand to the thigh, right hand under the right shoulder. Look over that left shoulder, reach the left arm up. Option to bring that back knee down. Reach the left arm for the back of the room and maybe catch that back foot. You can let that left knee fall to the left as long as you keep the ankle active. One more breath. Exhale, release. Back toes curl under. Step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale all the way up. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. So we are going to work on King Dancer pose. So again, strap might be right for you today. You can also go to a wall. If you're going to use if you would like a little balance assist, you can use a chair underneath your left hand, or just a fingertip or two on the wall can make a world of difference. If you're feeling a little shaky from all the work we've done, get yourself a little assist. We're going to ground into that left heel. Then when you're ready, bend that right knee and grab hold. Ankle, or maybe the inside edge, big toe side, thumb up of that right foot. But we want to start by pulling that heel in and reaching that right knee's going to want to pop forward, right? Reach the knee for the inner ankle, and that's not a back bend just yet. We'll get there, don't worry. And then maybe your left hand crawls up the wall, or maybe it stays on a chair, or maybe it reaches alongside the ear. Then as we start to kick that right foot back, I often see people just sort of forward folding, and there's really nothing happening with the right foot. I want the action to be more about kicking that foot back, leaving the heart towards the front of the room. Then if a little forward fold happens, fine. Right knee in. One more breath. And release. Bring that right foot back down. Good job. Other side. Ground into that right leg. So we just get light in the left. Find your balance. You can have your right hand on some support. Then when you're ready, go ahead and grab for that left ankle. If you're using a strap, you just hook it over and pull that heel up. Reaching that left knee for the right inner ankle. Don't let it pop forward, shortening this joint here in the front of that hip. We want to reach that knee down. Maybe this is as far as you go. Otherwise, maybe that hand wraps around, maybe it stays on the ankle. That right arm can reach up the wall, stay on the chair or alongside the ear, and then maybe start to kick that left foot back. The heart will come forward a little bit, but again, it's not about a forward fold. We want to open up the space in the back body. Keep that left knee down. Don't let it pop out to the side. One more breath. And release. Find your Tadasana again. Where we started the class. Breathe. Heels are underneath the hips. Notice how different your body feels now. Maybe it just feels exhausted. Mine feels warm. Circulation all the way to fingers and toes. A little, almost quiver, like an electric current running through the body. Definitely a little bit of muscle fatigue, but in a good way. Energized. ready, make your way to Shavasana, whatever that looks like to you today. Maybe it looks just like this. Maybe it's this shape, but laying down on the mat. Maybe it's knees bent, laying down on the mat. Feet wide, knees falling in on one another, especially if your back is bothering you. You find a Shavasana that works for you today. Put a place where you can close your eyes. Find some stillness. Observe the body. Listening to the breath come in and go out. As always, feel free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you would like. If you are ready to move, do so slowly. Start small, fingers, toes, wrists and ankles. Eventually arms and legs join in. Until you're ready to roll over to your right side and pause there for a breath or two. Eventually pressing yourself up to a comfortable seated position, eyes closed. One more time. We kept it moving today. Not a lot of pauses. When we move like that, it's pretty easy to let the rest of the world melt away. If you've ever taken a yin class or even a restorative class, oftentimes the biggest challenge is not necessarily what's happening in our body, but staying present. Not letting our mind wander off too far into the future, the past, to the land of imagination. Not getting lost in some of those big thoughts. But there is something about movement that then makes us a little more comfortable in our body, allowing us to sit with ourselves a little bit longer. To not be distracted by sore hips or sore shoulders or an achy back. So that we may practice being still and being okay with that. +20 years into my practice, I'll say, easier said than done. I'm wishing you peace, joy, love, and light, whether your body is moving or sitting still. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, and Namaste.